Hello and welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever 2. In this episode, we're gonna focus on this side of the river again still, and we're gonna improve our infrastructure over here. This area has been pretty ignored for the past couple of episodes, so it's not exactly up to date compared to all the stuff we've built over here. So I just like to come over here, simplify the highways, make sure we have more logical connections to each city, such as here Tucson isn't connected to Cedar Rapids at all by road, which isn't an issue, but it will begin to push traffic through Lexington if people do decide to drive instead of take the train. So I just like to clear up a bunch of that stuff, upgrade some of our trains, as some of these are very old trains, and make sure everything is connected pretty logically. So I want to begin sort of with what I mentioned earlier with connecting Tucson to Cedar Rapids. So in order to connect them, I think it's pretty simple, as we already have some roads out here. We'll delete that road a little bit, and we can pop out a new connection from this corner here. So we can come in, upgrade this road, and then simply drag it through and make a connection over here. So we'll try to get this road to look pretty smooth and natural, just like that. And then we can come back and bring this road into this intersection. So hopefully that'll cut back on some of the traffic trying to come out of here and through here, although there are a lot of cars trying to get through here, and it does seem like a lot of them are coming from this way. And another way we can begin to start cutting down this traffic is to upgrade these trains here. Now, as much as I do like these trains, I think that they're simply too old at this point, and we have much better options at our disposal. So I think we're going to upgrade these trains with this Metroliner train, as it has way more power and tractive effort than the previous train we had here, and it can carry almost double. So we'll do this, replace those, and I think we should be good. So we'll just need to make sure that these can get up to full speed between each station, just so we're getting the sort of max efficiency out of them. And we also might want to upgrade this other track here, as this train is reaching the speed limit. So now this whole line is upgraded, and these trains should be able to reach higher speeds. This one's already starting to go over 75 miles an hour, so it will be quicker than the other option that we had before here. And it looks like all of these are bringing full loads of passengers too, which is definitely much needed for this line. And now the next line I want to improve is the one that goes from Bridgeport to Victorville, because this one, if we take a look at it, is still running with these steam engines. So, as much as I love the steam engines in this game, we are sort of past the point where we can really viably use them, and I think it's time we switch over to this Intercity 125 train. Because the distance is slightly longer, we don't need quite as much power and tractive effort to get up to high speed quite as quickly. And these also carry significantly more people, which hopefully will benefit this line greatly. One thing I also noticed is This line needs upgraded as well. So even though these trains don't get up to their full speed, I do think that they will benefit us in the long run. We'll just need to keep an eye on their finances and make sure they're still making us a profit. And I think one more connection between Lexington and Tucson that would probably be beneficial is to simply drag this road here and connect it up over here. Just because these cities are starting to grow so close anyway, we might as well start to connect their roads like that, just so that they don't have to go all the way around here just to get into Lexington. They can take a small road right into the city. And of course, since we'll be having more cars coming in through here, we are going to want to clean up the road situation over here and make sure they'll be able to get into town just as easily as they were able to before over on this way. And then I think I want to make this main road that runs through Lexington just a little bit better, I'd say. So personally, I think we're going to get rid of this road that we put in a long time ago, and we're going to extend the 4-lane road across here like this, and then connect it up to the intersection here, where we then can upgrade all this to a 4-lane road. Obviously, we'll need to fix all these tiny intersection issues, but we'll finish upgrading this first, all the way out to here. We'll need to delete one of these roads, and now we can begin to fill this back in. And then while we're at it, we might as well just connect this up here, because that's probably what the city was going to do anyway. And then I think we should probably adjust this road so it then also comes off of this intersection, so we're not having all of our cars turning and then turning again. Hopefully this will make it run much more smoothly through the city. And then we'll make one last connection right here. So hopefully this will begin to clear up this road a lot. Now that we have sort of a main road running through, we do have the ability to upgrade it to a 6-lane road if we absolutely have to. Although I'd like to avoid that if possible. But hopefully now this will begin to work out. And I think already we're beginning to see that this will probably need to be a 4-lane highway all the way over to Bridgeport here. So we'll have to come back and make sure that this is beginning to work. But I think we're good to leave this little area for now and move on to some other areas of the map. Actually, one last thing I thought of while we were leaving here is we should probably turn this into a roundabout just so it keeps the traffic flow pretty smooth. So we'll do a roundabout just like that and connect it up on all of its sides with the necessary roads. I think we can get this one to work, and there we go. So hopefully this will begin to work as intended, and this will keep traffic flowing. I might even upgrade this to 3 lanes. I'm not sure if they're all going to get used, but this will be a pretty high traffic roundabout. Alright, and another connection I wanted to make was connecting Green Bay to Garden Grove and Akron by highway. Even though we do have this little dirt road here, I don't want to overpopulate this road with pedestrian traffic. just because we do use this for some goods trucks and some transferring, so I don't want to clog up that whole system there. So I think what we're going to do is bring a highway through this valley here and probably under this bridge, and then bring it into Green Bay this way. What we can do is pause this, and we can put an interchange in here. We could probably afford to make it a medium one. So I'll throw this in, line it up with the roads as best we can. So we'll probably place it right about here. And this really messes up the landscape. So I'm gonna go through and smooth this out real quick. Alright, so now that we have this interchange placed and it's a little bit more smoothed out, we can try to connect up our highways. Hopefully this isn't too steep of an incline, which it just might be. I might have to pull this back a little bit more. Maybe get rid of that and try to connect it up all the way back here. So we'll extend this out so we get a nice flat area where we can extend our highway off of. And we can then attempt to bring these together. Although, I think as we've learned before, we probably need a tiny roundabout here just so we can get a nice, smoother looking transition. So we can just simply do that. And then connect this straight onto the roundabout, where we can then bring off our highways. So there we go. Now we just need to simply bring these connections around and get them to connect. It's probably not going to be the best looking connections. And we might have some issues here, as it doesn't seem to like how it was trying to do that. We might have to adjust the angle of that road. So let's try to bring it off a little bit straighter and more parallel with the other lane. And even this is giving us issues. So let me just try to get this down, and we'll come back once we're all connected up. Alright, so we have our highway connected up. It does look pretty awful in some sections, but I think the terrain's just too rough to really make this look really good. But I am glad we're able to get this interchange in here, because I do think it kind of looks nice. So now we have to bring this highway all the way down, and we have to find the best spot that we want to connect to Green Bay, but I think it's either going to be over here or over here. So let's just bring the highway through first before we decide that. And this will be a very windy highway as it goes through this valley. And I think we want to bring it through this way. So let's do a little bit of landscaping first. So we're gonna flatten out this valley here, really cut through the mountain. So we'll have this that we can then smooth out just to make it look a little more natural. And then we can bring it through here and down over to wherever we want it. So now that we sort of have a path and a roadmap, we can begin to take this highway through. And we're gonna need another bridge because I do think that it might be a little steep to go down this valley and then up this hill here. So we'll do something like this. We'll bring the other one right along with it, following right beside. It's going to be a little hard to get it to match perfectly. So we'll flatten out some of the terrain. And now we should be able to get these two roads pretty close to even. So we can now curve this up and into this valley we created. Right there. We'll do the same, we'll flatten out a piece of land so we can connect this highway right next to it. And now we can bring this to this next opening. Seems like we'll need another bridge. Place this down. Do the same thing. And now we're able to bring this down and make our descent out of this mountain. And I think just because of how steep this slope is, we are going to go this way and into Green Bay over here, as opposed to following this train line. This will also just give us more space to connect up to the city once we get there. So we'll bring this across. This is a fairly large bridge, but we'll sort of have to make that work. Bring this in right next to it. And then I think we can begin to set up how we're going to come into Green Bay. And the road that it's going to come in on, I think will be right here. And we'll make this a 4-lane road coming right off of this intersection through the mountain, where we can then have our roundabout and connection point somewhere right about here. So we'll plop that down, connect this up, and then we can bring our highways down and around. And now we can have this highway connect up to the roundabout here. So we'll just bring this one in right about here. And this one, and we can bring that out right to there. So now all we have to do is flip around the one side of the highway, and this will be good to go, and we can start to see how much demand runs on this highway. Alright, so while we wait for that highway to pick up demand, I want to take this line here and upgrade it with some more trains, because these trains are pretty old, doesn't really have too much of a top speed, and is starting to slow down on its capacity compared to the newer trains that are coming out. So we'll replace these. And I think, after looking a little bit, we can try to replace them with this Metro liner, because I think this one will be able to get up to full speed. And even though it doesn't carry quite as much, we can just simply add a second one, and hopefully it won't affect this too much. If we look here, it seems like adding a second train doesn't improve or decrease our efficiency at all. So simply by adding another train, we can double our capacity, and it still runs just as well. So we'll replace all these, and hopefully we'll begin to see this train run much more efficiently than it did before. Alright, so now we've upgraded that train, we can take a look at our highway now. It's had a little bit of time to update, and there is some increase in demand on these roads, so people are definitely starting to use these. As we can see, coming out of Green Bay, it seems like a lot of people are using it to come out of Green Bay, and we have a little fewer amount of people using it to come into Green Bay. But I'm sure as these cities continue to grow, that connection will only get stronger and more vital for all three of these cities. So I think that's going to be enough for the improvements. So with that, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions or feedback, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching and have a great day.